Okay, so for those of you that don't know, we're back with a Q&A about e-commerce, business, marketing, and stuff.
Hello, good day.
Hello, good day. Like and subscribe because that makes me feel better. I've got a question. This is actually a good one. How do I handle negative reviews or feedback on my online store or social media pages?
Delete them.
Well, that is one way to do it. We actually went through a phase where we were, behind on orders.
Yeah,
Almost a week.
Jeez, we got
a lot of fire. Let's just
fire.
be transparent. How many tickets did we get a day?
500 or 600.
I remember you told me. I didn't believe it. And how many of them were people asking about their
So
orders?
so those tickets weren't necessarily like
All complaints.
negative reviews or negative sentiment. It was more people going, guys, you normally deliver within like 2 to 3 days, and it's like sitting on like 4 and 5 days now. What is happening? It's all subjective, right? A lot of those negative reviews, what we did and we strategically did is we have a product called Fast Track, and Fast Track basically is a jump the queue service. So anybody that did complain on social media or in tickets about a specific timeline, we would validate that timeline and we would give them a complimentary Fast Track. But guess what? On the flip side of that, they received their product the next day and then they wrote the most amazing reviews for it.
I think if I can shed some light on the matter is that if you get negative feedback, the first thing you should do is pay attention to what people are saying. Because as much as you want to delete them, and probably some of them you can, sometimes it's actually in your benefit to keep them there because there's a lot of people who can see that if you're responding to it the right way, and sometimes even your own customers will jump in. Like we've had people comment on my ads, for example. It's not e-commerce focused, but like it's a scam, or they'd say like,
we hate Jason.
Or Jandre's face is annoying. And then I'll have someone who's been a client for like 2 years, literally the one guy. This is literally what happened. Can I tell you what the guy said? You're gonna have to bleep it out.
He phoned me in the evening and he's like, fucking said my face is annoying or something.
No, he asked in Afrikaans, he said, "Video op jou neus gepoes." But I laughed.
Driving to Sap and you told me that.
Yeah, but I was laughing so hard. My wife was like, "What are you laughing about?" I was like, she's like, "Who sent you a joke?" That's who are you chatting to? I was like, "There's a guy who commented on me."
And she was more like worried about it than he was. Like,
I couldn't give a shit. But in theory, you're gonna get haters, and if you leave it there, there's gonna be people who probably support you and go, "Hey, I love these people. I've been working with them," and that builds a lot of trust and credibility in that same post, in that same ad, on the website, wherever that comment might be. So it depends on the context of the review and the context of the feedback. If someone is really upset because they had a bad experience, I think, and it's objective that you've done something wrong and you could improve on, then you should pay attention to that and go, hey guys, how do we make our business better? Because no business should be excited about short-term money. Everybody should focus long-term, 5 years from now, a decade from now.
Sure.
And I think more people should adapt that perspective and they will be more successful. So if you did think like that, you would take that honest feedback and go, hey, how the hell can we build a better business? And that's what we did. We got a bigger warehouse.
Yeah, exactly.
And we got more staff.
Moving soon.
Yeah, exactly. So in essence, I suppose the feedback is just pay attention to, the information and the feedback and ask yourself, is it objective or subjective? Is it someone who's just commenting on your face? Or is it someone who's actually had a bad experience and you need to actually improve the business so that you can continue sustainably grow?
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Can I go to the next one?
You can.
This is actually quite a good one. And I've seen a lot of people ask this in our client network. Should I consider expanding my online store internationally? And what do I need to know before doing that? That's hard.
It is hard. It's a hard question for me to answer because I haven't expanded into international. But I mean, there's a few tick boxes, right? It's, first of all, what is the product? Is it made and sourced locally here in South Africa that you need to get it over into a different geography? Is it something that, you've got a supplier somewhere else that can, hold it for you and almost like a drop ship type methodology? Courier, transit services, payment gateways, bank accounts. There's so many different scenarios from a geography perspective. Like, for instance, in South Africa, Shopify Pay is not available, but in other geographies, Shopify Pay is available.
Yeah.
We use specific couriers in South Africa. That whole transit network is going to have to change when you start going internationally. Bank accounts, local to the region. Product, as I said, customers want their things now. They don't want to wait.
I think what I've seen the biggest hurdle is getting the product there and then getting it into people's hands. So the question is, do you have a distributing partner that is helping you on the other side, because that will make things easier.
Yeah.
Are you using Amazon fulfillment maybe? But the other thing is you have to get the product there. So how does the cost of manufacturing, wherever it might be coming from, how is that impacting your exporting costs and the final cost of goods landed on the other side? And then the biggest thing is the cost of advertising is going to be 10 times more expensive internationally. And when I say internationally, I'm referring to USA, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Europe, United
You're
Kingdom.
competing with just so many more of the same niche.
It is
bigger
scary.
geography.
It is scary how expensive it can get. So I would normally recommend that if you are launching internationally, you're most likely going to have to depend on paid ads in order to grab attention, because it's so saturated, the market, usually in most niches. And if you're going to do that, you're going to need a proper budget. So whatever you're spending here, hopefully you've cracked the code over here. And now it's about putting 10x on that cost. And know that's what you're most likely going to have to budget for. And yeah, it just gets tricky. Like, a lot of people have tried and failed because the cost of advertising and the cost of getting the product there is actually just not worth it. The market's amazing.
Expensive.
Yeah, but I mean, there are industries that it might work for because they might have those, they might be importing the products from America or wherever. And now it's just, you might be doing it from Europe, and now you might as well ship it to the US as opposed to here. It's like the same distance in theory.
Yeah.
So I think that's it. Next question.
Yeah.
Next question. I think this is a good one. Interesting debate coming up. Should I focus on Meta or Google when it comes to promoting my online shop? And how do I choose? We just had a debate on this.
Yeah, we had a debate, and I've always, like, through my previous businesses, always been like a Google fan. Google does come with its woes, though, but so does Facebook. But in our current businesses today, Facebook has proven its worth to me.
Yeah.
I think you can do a lot more with Facebook.
Creatively.
Google is more like traditional, where Facebook is more in your face.
Thomas might disagree.
Thomas is not here.
Oh, did he leave?
Yeah.
Good for you, because he would have jumped in.
Yeah, exactly. But to tell you the truth, I think they've got two different use cases, right?
Yeah.
You know, we've now kind of waxed, touch wood, the whole Facebook Meta, should I say, advertising platform, and how we get our ads out there, our ecosystem over there. We haven't even touched the tip of Google.
No, sure. Here's how I can explain it. If you have a product and you're deciding whether you should choose Meta and Google because you might have a limited budget and you can't do both, ask yourself, is it a product that people are already searching for, or is it a product that you need to create intent for? That's the first question.
Yeah.
Because if people are already searching for that product, then you can give Google a shot, because the market is there. If it's a product that doesn't have a lot of search volume for some reason, then you're going to have to use Meta to create that intent. And you're going to have to target people based on interest, show them the solution to their pain points, aka your product, and convince them that it's worth buying. So it starts with, is there intent, or do you need to create intent? The second thing then is, where are you going to get the best cost per acquisition? Because Google has extensive capabilities, so does Facebook. But the question is, where are you going to get the lowest CPA and the highest ROAS?
How do you quantify that? How do you manage that? How do you know?
You don't. You're going to have to test. Yeah, you're going to have to A/B test. You can look at cost per click, for example, on Google, because it basically, you can do some keyword research and it'll say, listen, for this keyword, you're going to pay $8 a click or $5 a click. And then in theory, you can say, well, if I've got a 1% conversion rate, then it means for $500 I'll get a sale. In theory. So you can hypothesize, but the best way is just to test. And what we normally do is we'll start with Meta, because if it's a D2C brand and e-commerce, then Meta 90% of the time works, unless you're selling something really complicated.
Yes.
And in theory, that's where we would normally start and then extend to Google. But then we've had businesses who've just done Google. And when the moment they launch Meta, it really works. But that's because it's just not a product that people respond to on that platform psychologically. But what we have seen work quite well is, for example, furniture. Furniture is very hard to sell on Meta.
Yeah.
It's tough because people do a lot of research before they choose furniture. And they normally go to Google first because it's an intent-driven thing. It's like, I need furniture now. What we've seen work well is targeting people on search for that specific keyword or Google Shopping, and then remarketing them on Facebook.
Yeah, I was going to say you can use the two together.
Exactly. Cohesively, synergistically. If you can get that right, yeah, things become quite interesting.
If I'm not mistaken, that's what we're doing now.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. Next question. Good. What is the best way to make the checkout process easy so customers don't abandon their carts? I can start if you want. I think your brain is running because there's so many things that you can maybe mention.
Yeah, just kick it off.
So, simple and easy is the first step. People overcomplicate the checkout process. This is why I love Shopify, because the checkout process is so simple. It's clean, easy to navigate. Where on WooCommerce, it becomes more of a custom thing. Like you have to tweak it in order to get it to your perfection.
And then it breaks.
Or doesn't necessarily, trust me, a lot of successful businesses on WooCommerce. Don't get me wrong. Amazing platform. Nothing wrong with it. I just prefer Shopify. It's like iOS and Android. Some people prefer Android. Some people prefer iOS. iOS I see is the plug it in, turn it on and it works.
Yeah, correct. Android, you need to
customize a bit.
panel beats a bit.
Yeah, you can do this, you can do that, and you can tweak it. And I feel like that's WooCommerce for me. And I'm just someone who likes simplicity. That's why I love Shopify. So keep it simple, number one. So if you use Shopify, that box should be ticked. Second thing is, have your shipping address and your billing address the same unless requested. Because what people sometimes do is they make people fill in the billing address and the shipping address, and sometimes those are the same place. So you're making someone do double the work. Remove wasted fields, like company name. Most of the time, make that optional, not required. Like, so choose what you make required and choose what you make optional, because sometimes you're just annoying people. What else is there?
check out as guest.
Check out as guest. Don't force people to, that's a good one. Don't force people to become customers, or to register an account with a username and a password. It's just,
You can always invite them after the fact.
100.
So if somebody goes, I want to actually track my order, like even though it hasn't been sent out yet, and I want to try log in, you can actually go and generate an account for them and send them a welcome email, which allows them to sign up for an account.
Exactly. So checkout as guests should be, the default state. And then there was something else I thought of now.
It's one-page checkout. So I know that you probably alluded to that in your points that you've raised now. So recently historically Shopify used to have a multi-page checkout. And what they've done now in the latest update is that they've put in a one-page checkout. So basically you've got, these are your products, this is the customer detail, and you do everything that you've explained, right? Check out as guest, make the postal and the delivery address the same, and then you've got payment gateways at the bottom and the amount that you need to pay. It's all on one page.
Okay.
And then it also works out your shipping for you on that same page.
Yeah, very cool. New update.
Yeah.
I think this is new. Has this been?
It's newish, so it's about 6-7 months old.
Yeah. All right. So last question, and then we have to shoot. Also a good question. What's the best way to handle returns and refunds to keep customers happy, but also protect my business? I mean, we've went through a growth spurt where we annoyed people.
We did, yeah.
How many people did we refund?
You know what? If I had to say, it's maybe 3 or 4%, it's
Really?
a lot. It's really not a lot. So a lot of it is, I'm not going to say it's our fault or their fault or whose fault it is, but
It's always our fault.
it's always going to be our fault at the end because we're going to have to refund, right? We've got refund apps. So we've got a returns app on our website that we follow. I don't think we've had more than 8 pending returns.
That's on the product itself, right?
In 3 months, right?
Okay.
So we don't get a huge amount of returns. A lot of our stuff is not even asking for refunds. It's asking for swap outs. I don't like this. Can I swap it out for something else? So,
do we say yes to that?
Yeah, we do. Listen, we do recover on certain costs incurred, which we make available in our shipping terms and conditions, and customers are very happy to pay for it.
I almost think that just to touch on latch on what you're saying is like be human with people.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's really the thing. It's like everybody just wants to be heard, and sometimes people inquire and ask certain questions about refund policies and these things, and it's just being empathetic to who's ever on the other side. Like I don't think everybody is there to screw you over. Like everybody's like, oh, give them, no, they should pay for that, and it's like I don't think people are maliciously sitting there going, we have seen that it does happen.
It does.
There are difficult customers, a lot of Karens in the world. Completely get it. But I think that's the minority.
Yeah.
And I think it's just about treating people like they're human beings and going, hey, I'm sorry you don't like that. I can try my best to accommodate you. Normally we won't do this, but if you can help us cover the courier fee, we'll send you a new product. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Absolutely. And
it's just finding the balance. Yeah.
But we need to also understand stores in South Africa, if you're on Pay Fast, Pay Flex, Pay Just Now, you are governed under, a banking act. And you will find yourself in proper issues. You don't refund a client.
Did you want to say poo?
I was going to say worse words, but they will come to you. They will come and find you. And when it's bad when, a gateway comes to you and says, by the way, sort this client out, because the money was collected by them, not by you. And even worse is when consumer complaints comes to you and they've opened a case. Listen, I've had it before in other businesses where, a Karen puts through an order and a day later they phone the bank and then the bank freezes your account. What? But based on nothing.
Yeah.
And that's part of the Consumer Protection Act, right? And you will not be able to transact on your bank account until you refund that client. Empathetic. Be empathetic, sort it out. If you need it, just do it,
And also,
it's one click.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's all about long-term game, right? So it's not about the short-term gains. It's about how do we build a sustainable business long-term. And that comes with looking after the customer. And if they have queries, then respectfully reply and be human and be empathetic as much as you can. And don't, bend over backwards if you need to keep them happy. But there's also a limit. So it's finding that balance.
Well, exactly. Make sure that your returns policy is up to date.
Yeah.
Your shipping policies are up to date.
Yeah, just make it very clear.
And you are, the rule maker and the rule breaker.
Yeah. And if you made a mistake, give someone a discount, give them a discount, give the product for free. Like,
I know we gave discounts.
Yeah.
So,
for the people who were waiting for their stuff. Yeah. We were like 6, 7, 8 days behind.
Yeah.
And we literally said, sorry,
we fast-tracked them.
We'll fast-track you. Here's a 20% off for the next purchase.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just really looking after them best you can.
Turn their frowns upside down.
Well, doing your best to do so. I think that's it. Cool.
Good. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for joining.
Cool.
Bye. Much love.